So in this video I'm going to show you how you can connect up the DS18b20 to the Raspberry Pi 4. Now here you can see the Raspberry Pi 4 pinout. Now I have been requested can I sort of do a bit of an explanation of some of the connections, but obviously here you can see where your USBs, your Gigabyte, your HDMI port and your Type-C. Now my monitor is plugged into this one, and then I have a power supply here. I do have a USB keyboard and mouse connected, but now it's set up, I'm doing this through VNC to modify any files, or sometimes if I'm doing Node-RED I will do it through my Windows-based PC in the browser, which I showed earlier. So to connect the DS18b20s, we need to use 3 connections on the Raspberry Pi. Now it's important you notice this. We're using the 3.3 volt line, the ground, and GPIO4. Now GPIO4 has already been set up, which I showed in an earlier videos, as a 1-wire bus. So here you can see the wiring diagram that we need to do for the DS18b20. Basically we've got the 3 coloured wires here, and on the Pi we connect the red to the 3.3 line, which is pin 1. We then connect the yellow wire to the data, or pin 4. Now it's important that we have this 4.7 kilo ohm resistor between the two of them, and then we have the black wire going to a ground. So here you can see the wires coming from the sensor, going via the resistor, and then through some jumpers going to the Pi and the USB and HDMI cable. So here I'm on the Raspberry Pi and I'm in this folder system here, which is sysbus/1wire devices. Now we need to go into this folder because we need to see what our sensor number is. Every sensor we buy has a different number, so this is unique to my sensor connected to the Pi. We're going to need to make a note of this number because we'll need this for Node-RED. Right, so since the last video I've now added another tab, which is easily done by clicking on this add now, and then basically this is the next thing we're going to walk through. So what you'll notice here, I've got an inject mode, I've got a 1-wire node, and I've got a debug which is called debug 2. Now the important thing is you go into here, you need to add that sensor number into this box here. Now if you want you could change this to Fahrenheit, but I want it in degrees C, so I don't need to alter that. The inject node, what we're going to do, we've got a payload which is a timestamp. We want that because that shows up here. We're not going to put anything in the topics, but what we are going to do is tick this box here, which is inject once after 0.1 of a second, and then we repeat at an interval, so you can change this, keep that to an interval, and I'm going to get it to inject a pulse every 2 seconds. And what this will do, you'll then see here, if I clear these, a new message will appear every 2 seconds. So here you can now see on the dashboard we've got the ESP32 data. Now at the moment I haven't got a sensor connected to it, so that's the last readings that were received. But here is the Pi sensor data coming in, which is coming from the Raspberry Pi sensor via the node table I showed you. So what we can do is we need to go into home and we'll have a look at the layout. Now we've set it to be 27 wide, yeah, but here you can see we can move these around as we want within that screen. So this is how you alter the layout. Okay, I'll come out of that one. So if we look here and we can go to edit, here you can see it was set as 6 × 6. And here I've got the chart set as 16 times 7. You need to play with this to see what works best for you. Then here's the pi sensor one. Now on this one I have changed the graph colour, or the line of the graph, and to do this, if you double click in it, you can pick a different colour, press enter, and then done, deploy. If we go here now, you'll see the line on the graph has changed to a different colour. Hopefully this has been helpful for some. Thank you for watching.